So hello, Dr. Alex Bach.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
And what were your observations regarding dietary cation-anion difference, DCAD, that we know can have an impact on the production?
Yes, we thought about that a lot when we were designing the experiment, because of course we had a diet that had no sodium bicarbonate, and then one diet that had pHix-up or a blend of magnesium oxide products, and then sodium bicarbonate. So we know that the DCAD will be different. So the dietary cation-anion difference will be not the same between the three treatments. How much different it was, you can see it in this slide. So basically there was an increase of about 20 milliequivalents per 100 grams when we fed sodium bicarbonate than when we did not. So the control diet and the pHix-up diet more or less had the same DCAD, and then when we added sodium bicarbonate, the DCAD increased. There is a belief in the literature and in the field that very positive DCAD is also positive for intake and meal production. And that's a belief that is sustained by literature and evidence. But at the range that we're looking at, so the range in DCAD in the three diets that we fed, the lowest was 200 milliequivalents per kilo or 20 milliequivalents per 100 grams. And the highest was 360. Okay, so we're moving between 200 and 350. And within that range, as you can see in this slide also on my site, it doesn't really have an effect on intake or meal yield. Okay, and in fact, there is a lot of variation, and the variation that we see in meal yield is actually greater than the variation that we see in DCAD whenever we move between 200 all the way to 500 DCAD in the diet. So after looking at the results and also thinking about the study, we can really conclude that whenever the DCAD in the diet is above 220 milliequivalents per kilo, there will be no further positive effects on intake and meal production. So that's basically the consequence. We should not be worried about, okay, what happens if my DCAD goes down from 300 to 270 if I remove sodium bicarbonate and I use pHix-up, or if I reduce a little bit sodium bicarbonate and do other changes. Within that range, meal performance and intake will not be affected.
Okay, very, very interesting. Thank you very much, Dr. Alex Bach.